one, but basically anything that will hold your pads close to your hair accessory is fine. You could use super glue, something like E6000 will work fine too. Then a piece of parchment paper to protect our pads in the oven and also to protect our tables or whatever you're working on while we're painting our pads. Then a brush, something to roll out your clay with, your leftover clay. It doesn't matter what color it is. If you have incidentally black clay left over, all the better. I have here some black paint because my clay isn't already black. You could use acrylic paint, you could use spray paint, whatever works for you. You need a hair accessory that you want to attach your pads to. I just use this regular clasp. You can get those things in your craft store. You could also use a hair comb. Then we'll need some sort of nail file. Just use an old one. You could use those made from cardboard or metally ones, and you could also use glass files. It really doesn't matter. And some sort of knife. Whoops, sorry. I have my X-Acto knife here, but you could also use a regular kitchen knife. Just make sure to clean it afterwards so nothing is left on it from the clay, because that I don't think that would taste nicely. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is take our clay, take the thing we want to roll it out with, and just roll away. And this may take a while, and don't get frustrated by this, because especially if it's a clay leftover or something that hasn't been used for a long time, it may be hard a little bit, and it'll take a while to soften up and get flat as you like it to be. So I'll just finish this up. This might take a while, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so once you have your clay all flat, and by the way, if you're wondering why my clay is suddenly a different color, I had to take another piece of clay because the one that I started with ended up being way too brittle, and this is what is left from it. It was just, there was no way saving it, guys. So, oops, sorry. Bumped on the camera. Just trace out your bed and then start cutting around the lines you've traced out. And this doesn't have to be perfect, because we'll file it down and smooth it out after it was in the oven. So just cut your shape. I'm not doing anything very naturalistic here. I'm not a biologist. I just want it to look pad-like. So just do whatever you like here. Okay. So now that my pad is traced, I can just take away all the excess around it. And by the way, if you want to make like another pad for one of your friends or whoever, just take the leftovers, smush it together and roll it out again, like cookie dough basically. So don't just throw it out. So take the leftovers away, and here's something that wanted to stay. And basically, this can go in the oven as it is. You may want to reconsider the shape, may improve something here and there, rework it a bit. But if you're happy with the shape, put it in the oven. And maybe just a quick check before you put it in the oven if your hair accessory really fits on it. Under it would be the better term, because we're gluing this on top of that. Okay, and off in the oven. Okay, so once it comes out of the oven, it will be still hot, but we'll use that to place it into a bowl to give it a slight curve while it cools down, so we can glue it to a curved item like this more easily. And also it will look a bit more natural against your head. And it might break at some places, but don't worry, it won't break all the way through if you're gentle enough, and the paint will cover up the cracks anyway. And if you don't want to have any cracks, you can place it into a oven-proof bowl to give it the curve while it's baking. So what we're going to do now is clean up all those rough edges with the file, and just do that as you think it's needed. Anywhere you want to smooth anything out, and yeah, so, as you can see, I've taken quite a bit off with my X-Acto knife, and if you do that, please be careful and don't cut your finger. And then I smooth the edges with my nail file, and now it's time to paint. This is pretty self-explanatory. You don't need me for that. Just take your paint and paint away. And be sure to get the back also, just so it looks a bit more put together and yeah, a bit more professional maybe. So I'll finish that and I'll see you in. So as soon as the color has dried, you can flip it over, and just a little disclaimer, mine hasn't fully dried yet, but I'm running out of time to film this video. Just take your cloth, put a little bit of your glue on, and I'm sorry I'm shaking, but this is really tough to squeeze out. Get a little bit of glue on there, and then flip it over and place it on your bat. And it really doesn't matter whether you take a cloth like me or you want to do it with a comb. Just use the same principle. And then just let dry. And what you could do though is put some hot glue at the joints, you know, where the cloth starts and the bed ends, or however you want to put it, just so that it stays put. So, alright then, just leave your cloth open until the glue has dried, and you're ready. And I wish you a very creepy Halloween.